The Brewers' 11-game winning streak comes to an end, and thanks to Logan Gilbert and the big dumper does it again. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome in to the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. The Mariners defeat the Milwaukee Brewers tonight, 1-0. A huge win for the Mariners. They improved to 54-47 on the season. They now are firmly in the second wild card spot, a game ahead of Boston, and they are a game and a half up on Tampa for a playoff spot overall. They are still 5 back of Houston in the division. We'll keep tabs on all that. Before I go any further, you know what you need to do. You need to hit the like button. It helps out the channel tremendously. Please and thank you. Subscribe if you're new or lurking. 175 subs away from 5,000. So about 1,000 views usually when they win. 25% are from people that aren't subs. So there you go. That's our 5,000 tonight. Let's make it happen. And don't forget to comment your thoughts on the team, the game down below. Thanks for all the channel members that hung out tonight on the stream. Had a lot of fun, did the play-by-play, and got the W. I mean, to beat it, to win a game that was started by the Miz, Jacob Miserowski was huge. He has been phenomenal for the Brewers. That was going to be a tall order. Logan Gilbert was going to have to be up to the task tonight, and he absolutely was. We talked about it last night, Mariners starters that have that one blow-up inning, that they're dominant. They're dominant for 3, 4, 5 innings, and they just can't finish it. Logan finished it tonight. It's been a while for Logan Gilbert. First time going 6+ since opening day, but they need it. They absolutely need it. We talked about everything with this team. We know the offense is good and has its moments where it can be frustrating. They weren't going to score a lot of runs today. They're not going to score a lot of runs in this series. The Brewers are a great pitching staff. The pitching is going to have to be up to the task. And truthfully, for the most part, outside of Wu and maybe Castillo, it has not been this season. So it was great to see Logan back to that more dominant 2024 form that we've seen. And if this team is going to make some noise, whether that's just getting into the playoffs or getting in and actually advancing, Logan Gilbert has to do a lot more of that. And he was special tonight. That was a fantastic outing. Bullpen made it a little interesting at times. Munoz, not the sharpest we've seen him. Thought got the benefit of a couple calls. I also thought Churio went around on that strike 3 as well. So, sometimes it evens out. Some interesting defense from Luke Raley in the 7th inning. But the bullpen holds on, gets it done. Mariners only allowed 2 hits in this game. And they find a way. Then Cal Raleigh, right? We talked about him slumping a little bit. And he has, but he's still finding a way. Like every time it's like, oh, Cal's kind of starting to maybe slow down a little bit. He homers. And number 39 for the dumper, 1 away from 40 on the season. And just a classic win for the Mariners to win 1-0. If you were to say draw up a perfect Mariners win, you'd say Logan Gilbert dominating, Munoz and Brash and Spire on the back end maybe, and Cal Raleigh homering. And that would be your Mariners, probably 20-0 is your ideal win, but that would be kind of like how you draw up the Mariners winning. And they were able to do it tonight. And again, in a series that talked about yesterday, I don't love how the Mariners match up with the Brewers necessarily. Even though their lineup isn't great, it's pesky. We saw that today, putting some runners on there late and having opportunities to tie or take the lead that the Mariners were able to wiggle out of. The staff is good. I mean, great with Woodruff last night, Miserowski, the Miz tonight. And the bullpen's solid. I know their bullpen ERA is not the best. I think it's like 15th or 16th, but I'd imagine the underlying numbers are pretty good for them. I didn't think the team had terrible at-bats against Miserowski in this game, to be perfectly honest. They made him throw some pitches early on. I'm surprised they took him out. I'm assuming there's some innings limit or pitches that he's getting close to career highs in, so they're being very careful. Probably a nice benefit for the Mariners there tonight. But it's not like they were, crushed the Brewers bullpen today either. I'll be honest, Miserowski didn't necessarily endear himself to me tonight. I mean, clearly the kid is special. Right? The guy's throwing 100, 101. He's also got elite extension, 99th percentile extension. So that 101 probably feels like 105 coming up on you. The stuff is insane. The changeup at 94, I saw and I was like, oh, fastball. I'm like, wait, no, that ain't a fastball. That's a changeup that he's throwing. I didn't understand what his thing was in the 2nd inning. The pitch to Canzone that he wanted was outside, and then he kind of threw a little tantrum about it. It was a foot outside, and then he kind of strikes out Canzone and starts barking a little bit. Maybe someone from the Mariners dugout was barking at him. He was giving it back. Maybe he's friends with somebody there. I don't know. If that's the case, then just forget what I'm saying about all this. But I didn't understand that at all. It was kind of weird, kind of dorky behavior to me a little bit. I didn't get that. I didn't understand what the barking was about. Like, the call was correct, and I'm not sure what the Mariners dugout. Again, maybe something was said. So I don't know, but didn't really leave me as I wanted to get the W against him after that. I will certainly just leave it at that. I wanted to get a run off of him. I just thought that was kind of weird, but clearly, if you're a Brewers fan watching this, clearly a special talent that is going to win a lot of baseball games for you in the years to come, for sure. When you're playing a team like Milwaukee, who, crazy enough, best record in baseball coming into today is the Brewers. I mean, the Mariners have faced now the last, 3 against the Yankees, who are a playoff team, then the Tigers, who at the time had the best record in baseball, the Astros, who, even though the roster is banged up right now, are still a first place team with a top tier record. And now Milwaukee, who has the best record in baseball. That's 12 games against teams that are really dialed in. And the Mariners right now are 6-5 in that. They have a chance to go 7-5 against that stretch. That's good. This is a difficult stretch of games. This is not the time, like on Sunday, like I said, like they won that series. Frustrating the way they lost it and that they had a chance to win Sunday. But this team is playing good ball, and they're playing some tough teams, and they're finding a way. It would have been great to get that Brian Wu game against the Yankees, certainly disappointing. But then they bounce back and sweep Detroit with Tarek Skubal going. Now they've got a chance to win the series against the Brewers tomorrow and be 7-5 in that stretch. That's fantastic. Then maybe, you play the Angels and the A's, and the Angels are hanging in there, but I think it's a team the Mariners should beat, although they've had trouble with them in the past. Maybe you can go 5-2. Maybe you can find a way, win this series tomorrow with Castillo, go 5-2 on the next, road trip, and you're sitting at 60-49. So before we get too in on this team with inconsistencies, it's really not this stretch. They're playing good baseball teams, and they've got a chance to win a series against a team that came in on an 11-game winning streak and has the best record in baseball. Do I think Milwaukee's the best team in baseball? I don't know. I will say this. It's open. It is wide open this year. I don't see, even the Dodgers don't look their dominant selves. Would I predict the Mariners to beat the Dodgers in a series right now? No, but if they make some deadline additions, I mean, I think the Mariners can be in the mix. I'm not trying to, again, come on, and they could just as easily miss. They're a high variance team. It could go either way, but I don't think they're that much worse than anybody else in the American League. I think they match up good with Houston in the playoffs. I think they can match up with New York. It was a tough series in New York, but if Logan can keep doing this and Castillo's doing what he's doing and Wu, that they can beat them, and they've beaten Detroit. So I think it's possible that the Mariners could do some damage in the playoffs. I'm not saying they're going to. I could also see them missing. Like I said, it's a team with the variance that's going like this, but I mean, it's not crazy. I mean, again, look at baseball this year. It's a lot of teams that are lumped together. Like I said, even the Dodgers they're good. I think they're still the favorites to win it, but they don't look nearly as unbeatable as they maybe did before the season started. Milwaukee's got the best record in baseball. They're a solid team. Their run prevention is incredible. I think what's great about Milwaukee is they're a team that knows who they are. I saw someone on Twitter say it. They're kind of like the Rays of the National League. They know who they are, and they know what their strengths are, and they're good at their strengths, and they don't try to be something they're not. But they're not unbeatable by any means. I'm not looking at this series, in this lineup, the Mariners have no chance. So, it's open. It is open. And this Mariners team with the pitching, if it can get going to what we've seen it and we know it can be, it's a dangerous team. And they're going to add somebody at the deadline. Who knows? Maybe it's a deadline we don't love, but they're going to get better. They're not going to get worse at the deadline. The famous last words. But even if they just add Willie Castro, even if they just did that, right? They're better. They're a better team than they were the day before with that addition. So would that, be my favorite deadline? I actually like Willie Castro. I'd be fine with that. But just doing that, would that make it a great deadline? No, but you would be better than you were the day before. Get Castro, maybe I'm just using the Twins example. Maybe they throw Griffin Jackson there, and their bullpen's pretty elite now. So who knows? But it's kind of like the NFL draft, right? Nobody gets worse during the draft, essentially. So they're probably going to get even a little bit better. Another thing that's gutsy about a win like this, when a team's on an 11-game winning streak, they're never going to go down easy. You're not going to beat them 13-0 in that first game. And that was a gutsy win for the Mariners today to find a way to pull it out. The Brewers, everything's been going right when you're winning. Listen, no matter how good your team is, if you've won 11, 12, 13 in a row, and the Mariners won, 14 in a row in 2022, like that series in Texas that they swept before the All-Star break, everything went right for them in that series. Like every bounce went their way. You can't win that many games in a row without getting breaks. It's just how it is. Everything is going right for the Milwaukee Brewers right now. We even saw a little bit of that tonight, right? Yelich pokes that little base hit off of Logan Gilbert that chases him out of the game. The ground ball to Matt Brash that he can't find, throws over to first. Luke Raley's dropping balls all over the place. That's also the Mariners have to make plays, but things going right for the Brewers because they're in that winning streak. And the Mariners are able to kind of like do enough to overcome that, essentially, is what I'm saying. So that's a big win to be able to do that. So let's go ahead and dive into the box score here, and then I will get out of here and we'll go celebrate this win. Logan Gilbert, 6 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, obviously no earned runs, no walks, 10 strikeouts. Logan threw 86 pitches today. He threw 59 for strikes. Absolutely dialed in. I know this Brewers lineup isn't the best, but again, it's a team that is playing fantastic ball, and Logan Gilbert ended it. He had enough of their winning streak today. Best start of the year for Logan, I think better than on opening day. Need more of that. Doesn't have to be 6 1/3, no walks, 10 Ks, only 2 hits every start, but need a little bit more of that from Logan Gilbert. Man, he looked good. That splitter early on, even late in the game, was just nasty. I mean, just absolutely dialed in. And knowing with Miserowski on the other end there, knowing that one run for the Brewers could have been enough. Cannot say enough about how good Logan Gilbert was tonight. That might be the best pitch game from a Mariner this year. It's certainly up there. I did not mind Dan taking him out when he did. I wouldn't have been against letting him face Chourio there in the 7th. But what we've seen from this Mariners pitching staff, when they lose it a little bit and they're just not quite dialed in anymore, it's gone. They just cannot get it back. I talked about it yesterday, right? Kirby, Wu, Logan at times. I don't mind Dan pulling him there. Logan has not gone very deep into games. He leaves on a great note, gets the W. You should have faith there with the middle of the order coming up and Matt Brash coming in that you can get this done between Brash, Spire, Bizzardo, and Munoz, that you're going to find a way there. And truthfully, if it had not been for, Brash not finding the ball, then Raley dropping it, it would have been a very easy final couple outs there for Brash. I thought Dan made the right call going to Brash in the 7th. He's used Brash more in the 8th. I thought that was smart with the middle of the order up there, using your better reliever. Bizzardo started in the 8th. His walk, the 2-1 pitch he threw to Black was a strike, called the ball 3-1. Fortunately, that led to a walk. Spire comes in, strikes out Terang. And like I said, Munoz, not the sharpest. We've seen him in the 9th. A little bit frustrating on the walks. I did think Chourio went around on that swing, but I mean, those are just judgment calls. And Collins did get hosed a little bit on a couple pitches. I will say the pitch that was strike 3 was a strike. I think his frustration from Isaac Collins, there was more with a couple of the other earlier pitches. But that was a strike, the final one, and then gets Vaughn to ground out to end it. So Munoz might be down tomorrow through almost 30 pitches in this one, but probably have Brash tomorrow. Should still have Bizzardo, probably have Spire. Castillo, Castillo's got that dog mentality. He can go 6-7 for you. So you should still be in decent shape to get the W tomorrow, or at least bullpen wise. But yeah, listen, anytime you pitch a shutout, you did something right. Only allowed 2 hits today. It was the Chourio single, and then the Yelich one that got through, walked 3 batters, and 2 of those were Munoz in the 9th inning. So nice way to finish it off. Pitching staff pitches a shutout. Logan, fantastic. Not much offensively, only 4 hits, 1 run. It was a big one. 2 walks, 10 Ks again. Facing the Miz wasn't going to be easy. Randy had a nice double off of him. I actually thought there were some decent at-bats. I thought Cal's at-bat in the first inning was a 10-pitch at-bat that he lined out. I thought that was a great at-bat. Forced Miz to throw 10 extra pitches, essentially. Sometimes it's little things in baseball. I was talking in the members chat. It's kind of like field position in football. Anytime the Mariners are facing a pitcher, Paul Skeens, Miserowski, Crochet, Scooble, Hunter Brown, guys like that. My goal sometimes when I'm watching is, dude, make this guy throw 20 pitches every inning. Even if you don't score, grind at bats, get that pitch count driven up so that even if he's shutting you out, he's at 92 pitches through 4 2/3 and he's done. It's like I said, I equate it to like field position in football. Maybe you're not getting the drives, but you're pinning the other team back. They're punting to you. You're starting at their 42. You've got a chance here on a drive. So that's kind of what you're looking for, in those situations. And I thought for the most part, they did okay. Like, I'm not going to praise them. They didn't get a run off Miserowski, but I did think some of the at-bats, they fouled off some tough pitches. There were some at-bats they had no chance, and it just happens. But it wasn't as bad as like only scoring one run would make it out to be. And again, there's certain teams we talk about this with all the time, right? Certain series where you go in and go, you're not going to put up a ton of runs. You're playing in T-Mobile, which not a great offensive environment, and you're facing a great pitching staff in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a run prevention team. You are not going to beat them 13-5. You're going to beat them 1-0. Maybe you run into 1-2, 3-1. You're going to beat them that way. And the Mariners were able to do that today. JP 0 for 4. Julio's 1 for 3. He hit one off the Miz's butt cheek there. Maybe that knocked him out. I don't know. Maybe that was the knockout blow. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, you hope everybody's okay. I shouldn't joke about it, but I think he was fine. If you're going to get hit by a line drive, that's the place to take one there. Cal 1 for 3 with the home run, his 39th. Randy had the double. Polanco's 0 for 2 with the walk. Rayleigh had a tough game today. Rayleigh's got to get going. He's had a couple good games since coming back, but scuffling a little bit. I'm not necessarily they need a first baseman guy with like an O'Hearn or a Josh Naylor. Not that I don't like those guys, because I think overall Luke Rayleigh's not much different. Maybe a little bit lower, but like good enough that you don't need to trade away prospect capital for those guys. But Luke's got to play a better defensive first base. Got to get the bat going a little bit. Small sample. He hasn't had a ton of at-bats this year, but need Luke to get on a little bit of a heater here. Dylan Moore, man, 0 for 1. Listen, I get it. He's on the roster. I don't mind Dan going to him, and I don't mind it there either because Solano's the better defensive player. So I get what the pinch hitting stuff is, but you just can't keep putting Dylan Moore out there. I mean, if you got to IL him or something, do it. But, I mean, the guy's had like 2 hits in 2 months. I'd rather watch Luke Rayleigh take the at-bat than put in Solano for defense. I'm not going to get on Dan too much because you can't tell him guys on the roster, but don't use them, right? Like, he's there. You've got to use guys that are on the roster. But, man, Demo is just – I feel for him, man. I hope he figures it out. Maybe it's not here. Maybe he goes somewhere else, just gets a fresh start. A little bit of like Ty France vibes there. But, man, it's been rough. Canzone 0 for 2. Solano 0 for 1. I'm also actually – I was talking about this earlier with some people. I'm kind of done with Solano now, too. I had that kind of big run on that road trip where the dude was dialed in. He's back to kind of being whatever. I wouldn't be against giving Tyler Locklear a chance now. I'm not a huge Tyler Locklear guy, but I think there's at least more upside there. There's more power potential. I'd probably give Locklear a look. I mean, and I keep saying the All-Star break at the trade deadline. Sometimes you see teams make those moves too. It's not always the trades; it's other roster moves. I would do it. I think I'd bring up Locklear. I don't think you're going to get much worse. I don't know how they grade out defensively there, but I think there's at least a little more offensive upside. Even if Locklear has a 100 WRC plus or 95, you're at least getting what Solano is giving you already. So it's like you probably don't get worse. Again, famous last words. But I think I'm getting close to making the move, which, by the way, Solano will have 5 hits tomorrow now that I said that. Ben Williamson 0 for 3, made a nice double play, made a nice play to end it, and that would have had the double play there on, forgotten who it was. Was it Collins in the 7th inning there? And then Luke Rayleigh dropped another one. And Cole Young actually had a nice game, 1 for 2 with a walk. Cole Young on base twice. Had the base hit off of Miserowski. It went off Terang's glove, but it was hit at 105. So Cole Young just kind of quietly on base twice. Great win for the Mariners. It was a series I was worried about. Seems like a team the Mariners always struggle against. They find a way. Win tomorrow, win a series. You get a 4-2 homestand. Very nice coming out of the All-Star break. And good job by the team of not letting this spiral a little bit. We always see that one loss and they just kind of trickle on down the line of struggling. Didn't let that Astros game make that Astros game didn't cause that. They bounced back, get a win today. They gained a game on a few teams and, looking good. Logan Gilbert, great. Cal Raleigh gets the home run. Beautiful. All good things. All good things. So I'll be back tomorrow. It'll be a little bit later of a post-game recap because the afternoon game, so just bear with me. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, go Mariners. Peace.